welcome back again. I feel like I say that every time. And Marilla, I'm so thrilled to have you with us. To our audience, I'm speaking with Marilla Perkins from Conspirators. Please tell the audience what you do for work and what brought you to circularity.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a treat. I'm the co-founder of Conspirators, and we sneak climate into culture by bridging the divide between social media creators and companies and nonprofits who are working in climate and in sustainability.
Wonderful. It's funny that you mentioned this. The conversation that I just had and the interview before that, we've been talking so much about workforce development, the power of communication and climate literacy in the sustainability space, particularly the circularity space. I think circularity is such a new term. People are familiar with the idea once explained about it, but they don't really just know it off the bat. So what have you seen as successful tactics and successful opportunities that you've worked on?
Sure, of course. Well, I'm so glad that you said that. I think for those of us who are working in the space, we can at least admit that the climate crisis is in part a communications crisis, right? That that we haven't always done the best job of making the language and the behaviors really accessible or aspirational, right? And so prior to starting Conspirators, I was at a biotech company in sustainable fashion, and we really sort of struggled with how to make the language feel accessible and how to get people excited about it. And we realized that creators were a key element to doing that, and that them helping to get the word out was critical for scaling these sustainable solutions for the future. And so when we look at creators, they have kind of the holy grail, right? They have extreme reach. They have this amazing trust and deep relationship with their audiences.
Yeah.
And they have the opportunity to engage in real time, which means they can kind of drip feed information. So it doesn't have to be a big press release. It doesn't have to be just one look at a website. It can be a little bit of an engagement every single day to help get people comfortable with this language and with these concepts.
Yeah, and this idea of creators and influencers it's such a new concept in terms of marketing and how humans communicate. I mean, I personally am very influenced online, but I follow
You're not alone.
right. And I follow a few creators that I really trust. And I think you touched on that. It's about like building smaller subsets of communities, really getting to know someone's personal life, someone's personality, someone's ethics and what they believe in and what motivates them.
Yeah.
And I love that you're tapping into that. What are some success stories that you've seen between like creators and brands that you've worked with?
Sure, of course. Well, I think one thing that I wanted to talk about just as far as like creators and circularity are that I think creators can really help kind of break down circularity, which can feel like an abstract concept, in two ways. The first is helping to understand the life cycle of, all the products that we use. And there are so many creators who do this, especially in the food system, who are growing their own food, cooking with it at home, and then showing people how they compost. And so that like fully breaking down a life cycle, I think, is one way. And then I think the second is, remaking products on their own in circular ways. There's an amazing creator, Charlotte Rose at Second Life Studios, who, has close to 1 million followers who are watching her take existing garments and handbags and repurpose them for the future. And so I think she's taking this concept and making it feel really aspirational and exciting, because sustainability doesn't have to be a sacrifice. Circularity doesn't have to be a sacrifice. So
Absolutely. One of my first interactions with the concept of circularity was through an influencer, through a creator. And it was someone that was really passionate. I forgot their name, but really passionate about the idea of repair.
yes.
So she was like, yeah, I get my clothes tailored. When something's broken, I take it to a tailor and I get it sewn up. And I don't know why that was such a foreign concept. Because so many people equate like value, going to a tailor costs $25. I might as well just buy it new.
Yes.
But just seeing that done in action was something that was so powerful. And it seems like that's something that you really tried to work on at Conspirators.
Absolutely. It just makes it feel authentic. It makes it feel personal. It's almost as if it was your mom or your sister or a trusted friend who's like, hey, you know what you should do with that bag? Let me show you how to remake it, or let me introduce you to my tailor. So it just has a lot more influence to use that word, a lot more influence in our values, in our understanding, and absolutely in our behaviors.
Thank you. Yeah, that's such a great way to put that. And I want to end by asking you, what are you hopeful about in this space? What are you hopeful about in just little successes that you've seen in this communication and circularity intersection.
Yeah, of course. I think there's so much to be hopeful for. I mean, recently there was a survey that said 85% of creators want to talk about concepts like circularity,
Yeah.
but many of them are scared too because there are barriers. They're worried about how to be credible, or could it be divisive or depressing, or would their audience understand? And so I'm seeing organizations like Conspirators and others stepping into this space to really empower creators. They know how to be creative, they know how to unlock that resonant language, but they need the support of all of us to help do it in a credible way. And so I think that makes me really excited about the future.
I love that. Sounds like a perfect partnership. Well, thank you so much, Marilla. It's been
Thank
such a pleasure to
you.
talk to you. And
Thank
just
you.
the way you communicate feels so warm and so friendly. And I really appreciate the energy for our live stream. So thank you again.
For having me.
Of course.
This is great.